All right, we're recording. Okay, I'm gonna try and be as authentic here and honest as I can with everyone who may be listening to what I'm saying. I stopped caring about what happens in this country. I traveled. I met people whom authentically loved and cared about each other, whether through each other in the society or with authentic relationships in their immediate families. When I came back here, I felt like I had just entered into a giant insane asylum, is the way that I started to describe my culture. I felt like an alien. I was ashamed. The current political realities and the way we're handling them, I think, is all derived from people in too long and abusive cycles of predator and prey relationship. It's everywhere. It's on page 10 of the contract you signed with the corporation you're working with. It's the mechanic who knows that you don't know what time, energy, and cost really goes into fixing your car. Need I go on? This is hard. It's a hard place to be. I think the people who are coming out of this stress experiment, this environment that still care, are really special. I want to talk today about what brought me to even turn this camera on and have the courage to talk to you. And it's been the current state of affairs regarding censorship. And I know when I say that word, the proclivities that you have with your ideological stance, whether it be conservative or liberal, is going to cause you to have an emotional reaction. That emotional reaction, I think, has now become dysfunctional. There's no logic behind it. There's no reason behind it. It's just emotions. Our sense of meaning, our sense of relationship for one another, what that means is gone. So it's contentless and it's void. And by that definition, it's bad. We have major monopolies that have gotten together to take down another platform of information that's mission statement is a free and open forum for discussion. That's a little nuts. It's all derived from one individual who we can, I think, cross-culturally recognizes as a bit narcissistic and a bit of a bully, whose words resulted in some violence. There's now over 150 conservatives whose voices have been suppressed. Not all of them, in fact, a majority of them don't have any aggression in any of their content. That's scary. 100% of the time, one of the steps in an authoritarian regime's strategy, which ultimately leads to human rights violations, is to quiet the voices of dissent from any other opposing side or critical side. Liberal and conservative aren't enemies. It's chaos, liberal, order, conservative. Both are one of those beautiful experiences we can have. I don't know if you've had any of those conservative friends who are a little more shameless and rough around the edges, who tell jokes that are sort of inappropriate, but I love them. I don't know if you've had to hang out with a gay bar with a bunch of flamboyant men who are full of joy and fun, who are equally as offensive in their jokes. I've had fun with those guys. You can identify one as conservative and one as liberal. They're two different brands of people. I'm basically here to tell you that we need to start loving each other again. As a people, we need to start accepting each other for our differences. And as a nation, we need to grow a thicker skin. Because if we don't, shit's gonna get really boring, for one thing, and it's gonna get really oppressive for another, and ultimately, those dichotomies will get narrower and narrower. There always will be, if only a liberal voice is acceptable, a moderate. Eventually that will become the enemy. It'll get narrower and narrower and narrower until only a small people have control, and I guarantee that's where censorship will take us. So let's work this out, guys, because we're not the enemy of each other. The lack of information that we're getting through media that's splintered on the basis of ideology, and therefore by definition is not objective and is combative in nature, is causing us to become neurotic. We have to accept each other's differences, and we have to work it out with our words. Because the next step is one that we're just too far along in evolution to go to. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope it helped.